Hi and welcome to Drummers Review. I'm Nolly and today we're going to be looking at an Evetts spotted gum shell pack. Evetts drums are a custom drum company that hand builds their shells out of native Australian hardwoods, and they've garnered a reputation for their flawless build quality and the use of exotic timber such as the spotted gum that we have here for today's kit. Size-wise, the shell pack that we have here today features a 22 by 17 inch bass drum, 10 by 7 and 12 by 8 inch rack toms, 14 by 13 and 16 by 14 inch floor toms, and additionally there's a separately available matching snare drum which is a 14 by 6.5. In terms of the construction, the toms feature 8 plies of spotted gum, while the snare drum and bass drum are 10 ply, and on the outside we have a satin finished veneer of black limber. If you were looking to buy the 5-piece shell pack, it would be £3,850, while the snare drum costs an additional $800. Having been blown away by the Evetts snares that we reviewed a few months ago, we had extremely high expectations for this kit. But before we go any further though, let's check out a few more sound clips and then we'll get into some discussion. Firstly, there's no point beating around the bush. This is a fantastic looking drum kit. The outer black limber veneer is glorious and the satin finish has a wonderful luster to it. The beauty continues on the inside of the shells too. The spotted gum has some really nice, interesting figuring and the craftsmanship is flawless. In keeping with the snares that we've reviewed from Evetts, these drums are some of the easiest we've ever tuned up, which speaks volumes about the shell roundness and the bearing edge execution. In terms of heads, this kit features Remos all around. On toms, there are clear Emperors over Ambassadors. The snare has a controlled sound reverse dot over Ambassador hazy snare side, while the bass drum has a clear Power Stroke 3 batter and Onyx unported front head. The kit was supplied for review with an Evans EQ pad inside the bass drum, which in combination with the controlled sounding heads meant that the bass drum has an amazingly modern, punchy sound, even without a port. The low end is huge but not boomy, and there's this aggressive slap that sounds awesome from the player's perspective. There's not much in the way of mid-range frequencies muddying up the sound of the bass drum, which translates really well onto the microphone and negates the need to cut in a port and mic internally. The rack toms are quite bright with excellent projection. Even though there's quite a lot of overtones coming off the batter heads, they retain a musical sweetness that we really enjoyed. The rims mount system does an excellent job of preserving the natural tone of these rack toms. There's a lovely melodic sustain while at the same time the toms are held really firmly in place. The floor toms had bags of stick attack and definition, supported by a beefy low end. One of the nice things with these drums is they never seem to choke out no matter how hard you hit them, and they really reward those heavy hits. Across the toms and bass drum, there's a unified modern character. They're all really loud, articulate, and bright. In some ways, I feel like this kit takes some of the sonic qualities that made the much revered Yamaha Recording Custom so desirable and exaggerates them in a way that's really impressive. Equally, the snare is loud and articulate too, with sweet sounding harmonics that ring perfectly in tune through the sustain of the drum. It's responsive and dynamic with a wicked front end pop that should cut through any mix, and as a bonus, those clean sounding overtones lead to a very nice musical sounding snare off sound. Moving to the shell hardware, everything is very solid. The bass drum spurs and floor tom legs are really pleasingly overbuilt. The small lugs do a great job of letting the beautiful wood take the spotlight, while at the same time feeling very affirmative in use. And the snare has a trick throw-off mechanism, which to us is one of the smoothest and best mechanisms you can get. A special kit like this is obviously going to appeal to serious drummers and collectors who want an exotic and amazing sounding set of drums to enjoy. The workmanship here is so exemplary it would take a brave person to risk the wear and tear of regular gigging. But when drums sound as good as this, you'll certainly want to be taking them down to the studio where those bright and clear tones are going to be a joy to work with. These drums are world class and priced accordingly. It's a premium price tag, but when you consider that you can spend a lot more than this on high-end offerings from major manufacturers, we think these Evetts drums are actually really competitive and well worth auditioning if you're in the market for a dream kit. But why don't you let us know what you think by leaving us a comment on the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to be notified of more videos in the future, and I'll see you next time at Drummers Review.